It started like any other day, until a single move from Yaman sent the entire entertainment world into shock. Early this morning, social media feeds in Italy and Turkey exploded with one name trending everywhere: Yaman. Fans who had been waiting for updates about his upcoming projects suddenly realized something much bigger had happened. Not a simple post, not a rumor, but an action that could change everything about how people see him. Those who follow Yaman know he never acts impulsively. Every word, every gesture, every silence seems calculated. But today felt different. Without warning, he made a decision that even his closest circle didn't expect. His team remained silent. No press release, no statement, just that mysterious post that vanished minutes later, leaving millions of fans stunned. What did he do? Why did he do it? To understand the magnitude of what's unfolding today, we have to look back. Over the last few months, Ken has been living between Rome, Istanbul, and Budapest, moving quietly, finishing projects, and avoiding the spotlight. But insiders claimed something had changed in his energy, a kind of restlessness, like he was preparing for a major shift. Then, early this morning, fans noticed his Instagram bio was wiped clean. Every project tag, every brand mention, gone. Only one sentence remained: "It's time." That's all. 2 words that sent shockwaves across social media. Within hours, hashtags like #KenYaman and #It'sTime topped trends in multiple countries. Was it about a new film? A breakup? A reconciliation? Or something even deeper? Journalists rushed to reach his PR agency in Rome, but they refused to comment. Meanwhile, his fan pages began dissecting old interviews, looking for hidden clues. In one of them, Ken once said, "Sometimes you have to erase everything to start again, even if it hurts." Those words suddenly felt prophetic. By afternoon, the mystery deepened. His car was spotted leaving his residence in Rome, heading toward the airport. Reporters tried to follow, but he managed to slip away unnoticed. Only one grainy photo surfaced, Ken wearing dark sunglasses, phone in hand, and a look that seemed both determined and emotional. Something was definitely happening. And then came the whisper, "He's not alone." According to an Italian entertainment blogger, Ken was traveling with someone, but no one could confirm who. Some claim it was a close friend, others are convinced it was a woman he had not been seen with in years. That rumor alone was enough to make headlines explode again. Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain: today's move by Yaman has changed everything. His silence is louder than any interview, and the world is waiting to see what comes next. By midday, the story had already reached every entertainment portal from Istanbul to Madrid. Journalists were chasing leads, bloggers were dissecting every frame of that single blurry airport photo, and fans were spinning theories faster than ever. But what made this moment different was the tone. This wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. There was a sense that something personal was at stake for Yaman. Hours after his mysterious disappearance, an unexpected sign appeared. A private jet, registered to a production company that once worked with him on Viola Come Il Mare, departed from Rome's Ciampino airport, destination unknown. Fans quickly tracked the flight path. It was heading east, toward Turkey. The internet went wild. Was Yaman finally returning home? Or was this the beginning of a completely new chapter? Meanwhile, in Istanbul, paparazzi were stationed outside the old neighborhood where Ken used to live before moving to Italy. One reporter claimed to have seen a luxury SUV arriving quietly at night, escorted by 2 security cars. No photos were taken, but whispers spread, "He's back." And yet, something didn't add up. Why such secrecy? Why erase his social media, then vanish on the same day? Some believed it was a career reset, a symbolic break from his past projects and the controversies that followed. Others insisted this had to do with his personal life, especially after fans noticed that an old photo featuring a familiar face had briefly reappeared in his tagged section before disappearing again. That face belonged to Demet Özdemir. Though there's no confirmation, that brief digital flicker was enough to send fans into chaos. People began to dig into both stars' recent interviews. Demet had recently spoken in a Turkish magazine about unfinished stories and how some bonds never truly disappear. It might have been a coincidence, but the timing was impossible to ignore. Italian media picked up on it too. Magazines described Can's latest move as un gesto di verità, a gesture of truth. They suggested that he was done hiding behind fame and image, and that perhaps, this time, his actions were about something deeply emotional. By evening, another layer of intrigue surfaced. Someone claimed Can had been seen at the airport in Istanbul, accompanied by a woman in a long beige coat and sunglasses. The photos were blurry, but the resemblance to Demet was undeniable. Was it really her? Or was it another misdirection? No one could say for sure, but what everyone agreed on was that this wasn't a publicity stunt. This felt real, raw, emotional, and decisive. Back in Rome, production insiders hinted that Can had suspended ongoing deals, including a campaign shoot and a possible endorsement renewal. That move alone meant he was walking away from significant money, proof that whatever he was doing, it mattered more than business. As the day came to a close, fans around the world stayed glued to their screens. No statement. No confirmation. Just a silence that felt deliberate, as if Can himself was saying, "You'll understand soon." And maybe, for the first time in years, people weren't just talking about his looks or fame, they were talking about his heart. Night fell, but the story refused to fade. Across social media, fans from Italy, Turkey, Spain, and even Latin America were live streaming, translating, and sharing every new rumor. It was as if the entire world had paused to ask one question: what is King Yaman really doing right now? Then, just when the speculation began to cool, a photo surfaced, blurry but powerful enough to set the internet on fire again. It showed Can, standing on a quiet street near the Bosphorus, wearing a simple black hoodie and holding a bouquet of white flowers. The caption from a bystander read, "He waited there for almost 20 minutes, alone." That single sentence turned a mystery into a heartbreak. Who were the flowers for? Why was he waiting? And why did he look nervous? Fans immediately linked the location to a small cafe often associated with Demet Özdemir, the same cafe where they were once spotted years ago during the Erkenci Kasera. The symbolism was too strong to ignore. Had Can come back to revisit the past? Or was this the beginning of a reconciliation no one saw coming? Turkish tabloids ran with bold headlines, "Can Yaman's return to Istanbul, a message to Demet?" Within hours, the cafe owner confirmed that Can had indeed visited earlier that evening, ordering just a coffee, sitting by the window, and leaving quietly. He didn't speak much, only smiled politely when recognized. But one detail stood out: when he left, he placed a small envelope under his cup. No one knows what was inside. But one waiter claimed it looked like a handwritten note. Meanwhile, in Rome, a journalist close to Can's circle revealed that he had postponed his next TV appearance and cancelled a brand photo shoot scheduled for tomorrow. "He's not in Italy anymore," the journalist said. "And this time, he's not coming back soon." Fans interpreted that as confirmation. Can Yaman had returned home, not for work, but for something personal. As the night deepened, people began comparing this silence to Can's older interviews. In one particularly emotional one, he said, "Sometimes, the most important conversations are the ones you never post, never announce, only feel." That quote resurfaced everywhere, painted across fan edits and emotional compilations. It felt like a clue, a whisper from the past coming alive again tonight. Outside the cafe, a few reporters waited. One of them claimed to have seen a black car stop briefly near the same spot an hour later. A woman stepped out, looked around, and left almost immediately. The description matched Demet, same hair, same profile, but no photo was taken. Coincidence or destiny? Nobody knows. But one thing's clear: Can's unexpected move today wasn't about career or fame. It was about something far more intimate, maybe even redemption. After years of distance, silence, and rumors, perhaps he's finally ready to face the one chapter he never truly closed. As the world watches, his actions tonight may just redefine not only his image, but his heart. By dawn, Istanbul was awake, and so was the world watching it. The city streets were bathed in soft morning light when a new video appeared online. Just a few seconds long, shaky, clearly taken by someone hiding nearby. But what it captured sent fans into an emotional storm. In the video, Yaman was seen walking toward the waterfront, stopping by the same cafe where he had left the flowers the night before. He looked calm, too calm, almost as if he had finally made a decision. Then, from the opposite direction, a woman approached. Her face was partially hidden by a scarf, but even through the blur, people recognized her silhouette instantly. The comments section exploded, "It's Demet." Neither of them spoke at first. The camera caught only silence, a silence heavier than words. Can smiled faintly, then said something too quiet to hear. The woman nodded, and for a moment they stood inches apart, the tension between them so real it almost felt like time had stopped. Then, without warning, the video ended. But that was all it took. Within minutes, every entertainment outlet in Turkey and Italy ran the same headline: reunion or closure? Can and Demet seen together after years. People began analyzing every frame, her gesture, his expression, the way he reached for her hand but stopped halfway. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it felt like witnessing two people caught between what was and what could have been. A few hours later, Can broke his silence, not with a post, not with an interview, but with an Instagram story. A black screen, no caption, only a song playing softly in the background, "Come esi non ci fossimo mai lasciati," as if we never parted. The reaction was immediate. Fans cried, others celebrated, and thousands of people wrote that they had been waiting for this moment for years. But amid the emotion, no one could say for sure what this meant. Were they back together? Was it a goodbye? Or simply a moment of truth between two souls who had shared too much to pretend they were strangers? Later that afternoon, a close friend of Can's spoke anonymously to an Italian magazine. He said, he didn't come back for publicity. He came back to make peace, with someone, and with himself. That statement hit differently. It revealed the essence of Can's unexpected move. It wasn't about a contract, a project, or a new show. It was about closure, forgiveness, and perhaps love rediscovered. For years, Can had carried the image of the confident star, strong, untouchable, in control. But today, people saw the man behind it. Vulnerable, nostalgic, searching. As the sun set over the Bosphorus, another photo appeared, Can sitting on a bench by the water, alone again, watching the horizon. No security, no cameras, no entourage. Just him and the sea. The caption from the local who took it read, "He looked peaceful." Like someone who finally said what needed to be said. And maybe, in that moment, Yaman truly did change everything, not for the media, not for fame, but for himself. That evening, the world was still buzzing. Every headline, every fan account, every TV host seemed to have the same question: what happened between them? Yet amid all the noise, neither Can nor Demet said another word. And maybe that silence was the real answer. Because sometimes, when love runs deep enough, you don't need to explain it to anyone. A few days passed, and Can was still in Istanbul. But something about him had changed, a calmness, a lightness that people hadn't seen in years. The paparazzi who caught a glimpse of him outside an old family restaurant described him as quietly smiling, almost relieved. It was as if whatever storm had followed him had finally passed. Then, unexpectedly, his team released an official statement, short, elegant, and powerful: every man reaches a point where he must return to where it all began. For Can, that time was now. No names were mentioned, no explanations given. But everyone understood. It wasn't about reviving old rumors, it was about healing old wounds. The fans who had followed him from the days of Erkenci Kus to his international fame saw something profoundly human: the courage to face the past, to forgive, and to let go, or maybe, to begin again. Meanwhile, Demet posted a photo, a sunset over the sea, taken from the same side of the Bosphorus where Can had been seen days earlier. No caption, just a single white heart emoji. Within minutes, the internet lost control. It wasn't a declaration, but it was something, a quiet acknowledgement that words couldn't express. For Can, this day, the one that began with confusion, shock, and speculation, ended with peace. The unexpected move everyone was talking about wasn't a scandal or a publicity stunt. It was a choice. A personal act of freedom, to step away from the noise, the pressure, and the expectations, and follow something far more powerful, truth. In one of his old interviews, Ken once said, "I've played many roles in my life, but the hardest one is being myself when the cameras stop." Today, that line feels prophetic. Because this wasn't the actor the world was watching, it was the man. The man who, despite fame, distance, and time, still knew where his heart belonged. As the lights of Istanbul flickered over the water that night, fans gathered outside the same cafe, leaving white flowers, just like the ones he held that morning. Some carried posters, others just whispered prayers. And as they stood there, the feeling was mutual. This wasn't the end of a love story, it was its rebirth. Whether or not Can and Demet ever confirm what really happened that day no longer matters. What matters is what it represents, the idea that love, once real, never truly disappears. It may fade, it may sleep, but given the right moment, it always finds a way to return. And so, as the world continues to talk, speculate, and dream, one truth remains unshakable: Broken Heart Yaman's unexpected move didn't just change headlines, it changed hearts.